And here we go. We are relaunching the Rachel Holmes podcast, and I'm thrilled that my first relaunch guest, drum roll, is Miss Ann-See. Welcome to the podcast, Ann-See. How are you?
Thank you. No, I'm good and very honored to be kicking off your relaunch. I was like, she wants me to relaunch.
Yes, I want Ann-See. And one of the main reasons was obviously because of your knowledge, expertise, standing in the industry, general fabulous person. But for the summit that we all did, and that you pulled together a phenomenal feat, however you did that and organized all those chaotic people. I do not know how you pulled that off. And I sat and watched and listened and enjoyed every single video, and lots of people that I've known for many, many years, and lots of things I didn't know about them, how they got started. But I did love it that everybody kind of started in the same way. I loved that from back in the day. So firstly, congratulations on the summit. How was it? How was it to put it all together? And where did that idea come from even?
A lot of sleepless nights. It's like herding cats, you know. My virtual assistant, she's from outside the industry, and when she started to work with me, she's like, Ann-See,
with these people,
worse than cats.
It was.
It's an industry driven on passion though, isn't it? And basically, been in the industry a long time, been a large part of it in the Les Mills bubble, since I started freelance and freestyle, and then fell into the Les Mills bubble. I was always doing stuff of my own, like yoga training and stuff like that. But I started to realize more and more, even pre-COVID, that like the yoga retreat market is saturated. And then through COVID, yoga teacher training saturated. And more instructors are being trained and stuff like that. And so I knew that I needed to do something else to stand out from the crowd, to build my email list, and to increase my reach and my visibility. And I think everybody needs to do that. And so I looked around, and basically, I've always worked with business coaches, started with Lucy Johnson many years ago. And then, I found this person, and it was all about building your audience.
Do you feel then that you've had to reinvent yourself? That sort of leads me, that you allude to, that was reinventing yourself as a business coach, a presenter. Where did you see yourself at that point? What was the catalyst?
I was doing coaching before, before COVID anyway, before the whole craziness of the COVID thing. I don't think it's so much reinventing myself, but it's actually about reinventing my thought process, enhancing who I am, and kind of basically saying, look, this is what I can bring and I can add to the mix. I just need to think differently because everyone else thinks the same way. And so how can you improve your reach? And basically for me, it's about helping more people. How can I do that and stand out from the crowd?
And you definitely did, because I don't know what the views were like on those videos, but everybody was talking about it. You'd got a great Facebook group. People were chatting, sharing the videos. It just got some really great traction, I felt. Did it do everything that you wanted it to do? Did it fit everything that you planned with it?
Because I decided I could have got my assistant in, I could have got a tech person in to build the tech, and everything else, which was a nightmare building the tech. But because it was my first one, I really wanted to do everything. And I think you need to do that, because it's easy to outsource certain bits, but until you've done it, you might outsource the wrong bits, or you don't actually know whether someone's doing it right or not. So I decided to do it all, which was like, oh my God. Right. And I essentially viewed it, if I raised a certain amount of money for charity, great. If it had the reach, great. But I actually saw it purely and simply as a learning experience for me, because I'm doing another one in November.
Wow.
Do you see? But it'll be short, it'll be a slightly different format. So instead of 14 days, it'll be 5, because there were a lot of learnings.
Mm.
There's pluses and minuses to the 14 days, but I just literally did what my coach told me, which I think a lot of people kind of go, oh, but it doesn't fit my market. And I just went, no, I'm just going to do it. And everything that I wanted to achieve I
Good.
did.
Brilliant.
And it was a big learning experience, massive learning experience, and stretched out of my comfort zone.
That's good. That's good. Brilliant. So even somebody that has 30, how many years experience have you got in the fitness industry, Ann-See?
30. I'm trying to think how old I am. I think it's about 30, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think we must have started about the same time. So I'm 52 and I started at 17. I think you were similar, sort of late 80s.
Yes. And not trying to think that far back. Yeah, so I'm 55, 54, 55. So yeah, 54. See, I can't even think. So I probably started my early 20s. So not quite 30 then.
Yeah, long time, a lot of history. And currently bringing us all up to date, what are you teaching, offering? What does your sort of working life business look like now, Ann-See? What are you offering? General public, consumer, instructor training, business coaching? What does the whole mix look like?
This is all different streams, isn't it? So at a very basic level, I teach 2 classes at a club chain. Because I really feel that whilst I'm training instructors, I still need to have one foot in the club scene.
Agree.
And then we have a yoga studio, which is very local. It's rural. And so it's not on a high street or anything like that. We're on a farm. And so we have a yoga studio. We're open 7 days a week, but I only teach, up until recently, 2 classes a week. Now I'm doing a third one because I'm having a play with a new concept on a Thursday morning. And we've got other teachers teaching the rest of the time, which is really lovely. So it's a lovely community. I have my yoga teacher training, but this year I've been focusing on audience build. And stepping into this other, challenging my brain cells. So I still do my yoga teacher training this year, but I'm doing it on a mentorship. So it's 1-to-1. So they sign up, they do their course content online, but then they have me for calls. I still service the yoga teachers that trained with me who still want to stay plugged in. So we have monthly calls. I create lesson plans for them. And they get discounts and stuff I do. So there's a nice community there, so they don't feel like they're alone. I do 1-to-1 coaching, business coaching. Yeah, and now I'm launching this group 9-month program.
Fantastic, Ann-See. I love it. And maybe that's...
And
Les Mills.
Les Mills, I'm a trainer. I do one training for them. I assess for them as well. So yeah.
So let's break down some of those parts, because that's a lot. And I think it goes with having multiple streams of income, fitness income. So whether it's you operating a studio, doing coaching, doing teacher training, it's really important in this day and age for all of us to have and cultivate multiple streams as we are going into uncertain economic times. And it is important to cultivate different strings to the business. So if we look at your physical business, your studio, and I know lots of people watching and listening, this is something that they would love to have. They would love to have their own studio, their own space. I'm sure there's a lot of takeaways and learnings from that. Would you do it again? Would you build it again? Would you do it differently? How has it benefited you and your business having that physical location, would you say?
Would I do it again?
Yes.
I never planned. I never planned to have it. I decided, whenever it was, going back 9 years or so, I decided that I was going to teach in the community, which I've never done. So I've only ever taught in clubs. The only time I taught in the community was for Sally Wormel. Yeah. And I was living in the area, and she had community classes. And so she paid me as an instructor to teach. I can't remember what I taught, like a couple of classes for her. So I never had to market. I didn't have to do any marketing or anything like that. But moving to the Southwest was a brand new start for me, new relationship and everything else. And Bristol traffic is awful, Bath is awful. So I decided to set up in the village halls. And I knew that I didn't know any business, really, even though I've got like business studies background and everything else. And I took on a business coach and I literally did everything she told me to do. And within a month of launching in the community, I was fully booked.
Oh, fantastic.
And then I got on 2 more classes, but then village halls are terrible. I got chilblains, right? That's how bad one of the floors was. And then this, and then just, I think the universe, when you put things out there, I think the universe sometimes just goes, hey, guess what I've got for you. And there was an empty office on a farm locally. And yeah, we kind of went, had a look at it, and within 3 weeks we were in. So we didn't have much time for marketing. So if I were to do it again, I would spend more time marketing and have a proper like open day and launch and everything else. I don't know if I would do it again so soon.
Interesting.
Because of the current climate.
How, after coming back from COVID, did your clients come back? How has the business changed?
We are hybrid now at the studio, and we're waiting to move into a brand new purpose-built studio. And with that one, we will have big TV on the wall and everything else for Zoom classes. So we are hybrid, which is great, because what we found is, yes, we did lose people. Some people, especially the older clientele, moved away to be closer with their family and that kind of thing. And others have chosen not to come back because of health reasons. And so that's where the Zoom is really useful, because they can Zoom in. But with anything, it was mainly the people we've lost is because they've moved away more so. Yeah, some people because of finance, but the people on the large part have moved away from the area. That's why we've lost them.
But you plan to develop, you're going to move into new premises when they're built and ready. So you've got a big vision for the space, big vision for the business, the physical business.
Yeah, considering I never planned to have it, because we're rural, so you can't even walk to us, really. Like, even if you lived across the road, maybe you can cross the road, but there's no like walkway through this village. So you have to drive, which, and public transport is really bad in the area. So that already reduces our market. So unless you can bike there, drive there, or get a moped or motorbike, you can't literally walk there. We have one person that walks to us, and that's about it.
Gosh, that's...
we had one solicitor that used to drive to us, who literally probably to walk would have taken like 4 minutes. And they would drive to us with their coffee in a mug in their hand.
Would they?
Solicitor.
I love it.
So it's very different to, say, having bricks and mortar premises in a city, or even in like a housing area, where people can really walk to it and that kind of stuff. You can't you can't just you've got babies, you can't just wheel them down the road kind of thing. So it's a different so
it's a real destination location. You've got to get in your car and physically make that choice to go to the class. Are you responsible for the marketing at the studio, Ann-See? How do you market it?
We market the word of mouth, really.
Oh.
Word of mouth. We have done Facebook ads occasionally, actually ads rather than boosted posts. They work when we've got something, like an offer to bring people in. And but primarily people find us word of mouth, Google.
Massive.
And then there are a lot of like local groups, like family groups and that kind of stuff. So but we don't do huge amounts in that sense. We don't do huge amounts of marketing. We do referrals with our members. So we have an affiliate fee for members if they bring people. So we've had referral competitions in the past where the person who brings the most like people for free taster will win. He shut it down now. So there used to be a local chef, Michelin star chef, called Josh Eggleton. He's been on the Great British Menu thing.
Yeah.
And his pub is obviously Michelin star. It's now shut and it's turning into something else. But we got like 50 quid voucher
Uh,
for the person who wins the referral competition can go for dinner, or whatever, they can use it, that kind of stuff. So we've done that in the past, but now we are offering an affiliate fee
mm.
if they bring someone and the same person comes 3 times for free.
Oh, that's a good idea. Mm-hmm.
Only if they've done 3, because we know even by 2 they'll join.
Mm.
So they've got 3 opportunities, and if that person comes 3 times, then we pay them an affiliate fee, the member,
And that works
because
well.
it's not their job to sign people up, it's our job to sign people up, but they can just invite people to
That's a
come
great
along.
idea. So that works well. That's a
We've
number
only
one.
just launched it, so yeah, so that's something else that can go alongside a referral competition. And then we get involved in like local stuff, like the school wants raffle stuff, so we give like a month's membership for free, and that kind of thing.
Got it. And social media. Social
Social
media.
social media, yeah. But really, to be fair, it comes mainly from whenever we take ads out.
Mm, interesting. Because I think that's a question, a comment that I get a lot in the groups as well. Is it's hard to get people to physical locations, and it's word of mouth. How do you boost words of mouth? And you're doing it perfectly. That's the perfect way, isn't it, to boost that word of mouth, get people to refer, and then 3 times, and then get. So it's an ingenious idea. Any other tips?
Flyers, if
Yeah.
you've got a local premises, flyers work. Door drops, they work. For us, what's working really well at the moment is parish magazines.
Oh yeah. Wow.
They're cheap,
Yeah.
so we take an ad out for the year, and it goes for a good cause. And yeah, so we've gone like the whole area. I think it's like 6 or 8 parish magazines
Okay.
within a certain. So you've got to see where you're serving, right? How far the radius wise you want to serve, and then look for the different parish magazines and take an ad out.
Fab. So that's a good
And the
tip.
ads always offer something like come for a free taster.
Mm-hmm. So
You
there's
know,
a call to action, strong call to
yeah,
action to
strong
get
call to
people in.
action. I think if you just put down what you do, it's unlikely, unless someone already does yoga or Pilates or whatever, and they know what it is, and that's the other thing I think I see a lot of, is that people putting, ads out or boosted posts and stuff like that, but you're hitting people. It's written in a way that targets people that already know what the benefits are. And there's a huge market out there of people that don't know whatever you're offering, what the benefit, how does it help me?
Yeah.
And I think so rewording that, offering, don't just say come to Pilates, you see like yoga classes, Pilates classes, etc. But I did a public speaking course with someone, a business coach, a couple of years ago, just before lockdown, and I did it on yoga. And he says, Ansi, you need to be talking to the millions of people that haven't got a clue what yoga can do, because they're your market, potential market, not the people that already know what yoga, because if they already know what yoga is or Pilates is, then it's going to come down to, do I like this style? Do I like that style? And that kind of stuff. People buy people as well. But he says, what about all the other people out there, that aren't exercising, that aren't taking care of their health and well-being? Those are
Yeah.
the people that we need to talk to.
Yeah. That's the white space for sure, isn't it? That's the
And
golden.
and offer them a free taster, 2 free tasters. Like, don't be selfish with it.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've got the room in the studio, bring them in. Absolutely.
Got the room. If you haven't got the room, then do a taster class as an extra or something.
So good tips there for getting people to the physical. Facebook groups. Do you use the Nextdoor app? We've been talking about this quite a lot in my mentoring. Do you use it? It makes me laugh. But people are getting great leads from Nextdoor. Are you finding that?
Yeah, you can. We use it. I still have to get my head around it, because it's going sometimes a little bit too far out from where
Yeah.
we are, because like we say, hours, you can't walk to it necessarily, right? So you have to be able to drive. So yeah, so we've been using it. You get leads from it, and again, it's just off making your offers. But I just think sometimes I just feel, there's this Russell Brunson,
Yeah.
his model, is it five ones?
Yeah.
You focus on one thing, one lead generation system, one offer, one target market, and for 1 year, and I think sometimes it's very easy to do too much everywhere. And I think the other thing is that, perhaps instructors don't measure a return on investment, because if you do, then you just double down on what's working well for you at that time,
Yeah.
rather than try something for and then you haven't really done it well, and then you say, oh, but it's not working. But I'm like, how do you know it's not working? Or people say, oh, that's doing really well for me, and it's okay, how much money have you made? Oh, do you know what I mean? It's like it's interesting to kind of get into their heads to think, how do they measure success? What's working? Have they just got new followers? But that doesn't equate to physical clients.
What metrics do you use for the studio? As in, is it literally bums on seats, sign-ups? Is that the measure?
We measure our
Yeah.
conversion rate. So we've got a target, a financial target for the month, and then from there, any marketing that we do, we look at the conversion. So if there's a referral program, okay, so people come, which is why I said earlier that one taster sometimes might not be enough for people, especially if they've not done that before, like they've not done yoga before, they've not done body balance or whatever before. They sometimes need to, or because we're a physical studio, it's not just me as a teacher. They might not quite connect with me, but they might connect with somebody else. So that's why we tend to give 2 to 3 tasters for people, so they can give it a good go. And then usually from that, it will be, they'll pretty much sign up. Whereas if they come just the once, it's a lower conversion rate.
Yeah.
At the studio, when I was teaching the village hall, our conversion rate was 80%.
Yeah.
Because it's just me. People come, it's just me, it's my class in the village hall, so it's different. So I think, instructors need to maybe look at that. If they are paying for parish magazines, if they are boosting their posts or whatever, to, what returns are they?
Absolutely. Measure. For sure. Measure, and always look at the metrics. Are you adapting the model at all? If you watch the news, not the current news withstanding, but general economic news, does it shape how you're thinking about the future, pricing, offers, or are you sort of just going in hoping for the best? Have you got any contingency plans? Sort of, what's your thoughts around it?
2 things. One, we've just put our prices up.
So David Lloyd, actually, they've put their prices up as well.
Put your prices up. And I think what we've done though as a studio is we've put our prices up, but for the first time, we've also introduced concessions, for the people who retired, etc. We've never done that before. And so the ones that are concessions stay on the current rate basically, and everyone else, will be paying. Is actually, they started now 1st of September. They're paying the new rate, so we've actually gone up, and I think we've lost 2.
Wow, it's great.
And it's only because, and even when my partner mentioned their names, I'm like, who are they? They're like, we've been getting money from them like this whole time, which is great, but you're better off having an engaged client than someone who's not, so I think it's just cleared the dead wood in that sense. But I think, put your prices up, and then I can't think now what else the second thing I was going to say. No, it's gone out my head.
No, but that's really, and we just got to go with it. Who knows where it's uncharted times again, isn't it?
You got to go with it. And I think, what's been good for us is that, and we've seen a lot of yoga studios close in Bristol, is because we've always just gone membership. We've never done class passes. we had pay as you go, yes, but it wasn't advertised. So if someone's in the area and just wants to do that, or if they ask us, we did, but we never promoted it. But we've always done memberships. So you've got that recurring income that we collect on the 1st of the month. So really by the 7th of the month, you know how much you've got in your bank.
Now, if we swing over the other side of what you do in Les Mills, so you've got a very community driven grassroots business with very traditional methods of marketing, word of mouth, parish, community building. We could be having this conversation 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 25 years ago, and we'd be saying the same thing. And over here, you're working for just a global phenomenon who now they're in the metaverse, they've got apps. I mean, it's just a phenomenal brand. What Les Mills have done over the last 25 years is just phenomenal. So you've got a foot in each camp. So when you look at the Les Mills model and the future of fitness, do you see that as the future of the fitness, that sort of metaverse and app-based and virtual reality? And do you think the two are going to coexist for the future? Or do you think one will outsuit the other?
No, because if you look at the music industry, we've got music downloads, and yet gigs still sell out.
Yeah.
Because people you can't be alive, like on belly to belly kind of
yeah.
Where you kind of just, okay, there's the whole, virtual feel and everything where you can actually feel it, but I just don't. You might be able to feel it in your body when you've got, your goggles or whatever on, the whatever equipment they have. But to be in the same room where you can almost like taste the sweat in the room, it's a completely different feeling. And I see, people, whether it's on the Les Mills level, whether you've got people there, because it's global, it's a global brand. Like I remember years ago, there was a big event in Sweden, and an instructor messaged me and said, and it was a filming event, and a lot of the UK team were involved, like on the filming. And this instructor messaged me and said, Ann-See, I really want to go, but I've never left the UK before, right? On holiday or anything. And I was like, you'll be fine. Someone set up a UK instructors traveling to Sweden Facebook group. Right. So I added this person to the group, and as usual, instructors are instructors, regardless of whether you're Les Mills or anything else, chat, don't they? They
yeah.
Chat. And so connections were made in the Facebook group, and then this person bumped into them when they were there, and they were buzzing. And on the way back, we were on the same flight. And then after that, they loved it. This instructor loved it. And then that's the following year, this instructor then traveled to New Orleans for Les Mills event.
Wow.
Went to New Zealand for filming. But what opened up to this person was the fact that, we all share something in common, and that is movement. Yeah. And in this instance, movement to music. And the whole community thing, you can meet online and make friends online, but the minute it's belly to belly, that kind of almost seals the deal, where you really feel that connection. You can touch somebody and jump up and down and, work out together, sweat together. And, so I think whether it's at the studio, I think, like most people, if they had a choice, would come to the studio as opposed to stay on Zoom. You've
got all the different connections. You're in the Les Mill tribe, and you're in your local tribe with your local business. Where do you, as we're seeing, and you and I were just chatting sort of limitedly about this before we came on, was the industry seems to be shrinking, the instructor market. We see on my Facebook, I see great instructors who've been in the business 25 years, 30 years, have now either going part-time and just teaching as a hobby, 3 or 4 classes a week, and then they're doing something else. They're flying for Ryanair, or they're working for a bank, or whatever. They're doing other things, other skills, hospitality perhaps. We're seeing more and more training providers actually stop, go under, go bankrupt, or just cease trading. Because some really big training providers have left the industry. So where do you see the instructor market going? Where do you see that? Do you think the industry as you and I know it perhaps is gone? That's no longer, and we need to cultivate a new Group X market? Or what's your sort of personal opinions on where it is and where it's going? Massive question.
Oh, I think health and well-being will always be at the forefront, of people's priorities. I think I love Group X, and I feel it will always be there. How we market it needs to change. I feel that, so for example, like at the studio, we are a local business, and even the Zoom, like we could promote the Zoom, but it would require completely different marketing. Completely different marketing. You can't market, oh, we've got hybrid. It doesn't, it's almost like a bonus for the people that come face to face. I think there are over 7 billion people in the world, and I think instructors need to start looking outside the box. I think it's about reframing how they see the world, because there are a lot of people out there who need our help, but they don't know it yet. They don't know that we can help them. So the traditional ways of how they're posting doesn't work. You've got to talk to those people that don't even realize that, do you know what, I got chronic low back pain, and maybe coming to yoga or even mobility classes, etc., can help. So I think it's reframing our marketing. It's about going after a bigger audience, not just the local community. And for the instructors that hate social media, get over it.
Oh, I love it when you hard talk. It's usually me.
They have to, if they love what they do, and we love what we do, we've had to adapt and change, and because if it's about, as a massive introvert, if it's about helping people, then I need to get out of my own way. And there are a lot of people out there that need my help. So, and there's enough out there that we don't need to come from a place of fear, and we should come from a place of abundance. And so what if there's another instructor down the road, but they have different qualities that they bring? You could even maybe work together and do stuff together, rather than, oh no, I'm not going to share my people with you, like that kind of thing. It's just do collaborations, right? But I do think they need to change. I think it needs to talk to what, like your average multi-passionate Group X instructor, right? They might be teaching, say, Zumba classes, they might be doing, fitness Pilates, they might be doing some yoga, etc. All those things can help. And it's about finding, like, packaging it together almost, and saying, look, by doing all these things, it will help with your overall well-being and everything else, rather than just, oh, come to my Zumba class. It just, I don't think that cuts it anymore. If that's what they're doing, it doesn't work. And I would still teach, like I've always taught in clubs, and I think people should be building their email list, because the club people come to my workshops, they've joined the studio, even though they're paying half for membership. It's about building your following and serving them well, so I think it's not shifted, but I think how we offer it needs to shift, and how we talk about it, how we market it needs to shift.
Agreed. I totally agreed. I think the biggest, one of the comments that I get from people is, well, I signed up to be a Group X instructor. I like teaching body pump, Zumba, fitness Pilates. I don't want to be on social media 24/7. I don't want to live like a Kardashian. I don't want to be going live. But I think this is the same across the board in any service industry. If you're self-employed, you have to be, or your brand or your business has to be visible. If people don't know who you are or what you offer, then there's no way that you can sell them your products or services. And then if that is the case, I think potentially then go to employment, go and work for a centre, go and work for, do GP referral or whatever it may be. But being freelance, you do have to be visible, don't you?
You just, I mean, well, the other option is to just teach in clubs, right?
Mm.
And you just get paid your rate, which is fine, but then clubs change their timetables.
Yeah.
They drop programs and lots of other things. So, so you can still do that. But if you want to, if that's what you want and you want that security, but this is something I talk about a lot, is the whole employee mindset and having a business mindset. If you are of an employee mindset and you want that security, then just go teach in clubs and pick up classes in clubs, and you've got that rate. It's more secure than teaching in the community, perhaps, right? But it's kind of like risk, when people bet on horses and things, people say, oh my God, that's really risky. But no, the risk, and you can minimize it. I'd rather take my chances there than teach for a club or be employed. And then next thing you know, you've been handed your notice, or sometimes they don't even get notice. You get a
You're
Facebook
just
message.
gone. What's that? Bye. They've taken it off the time door. And you're right. Programs change, whether you teach, and you're not safe if you're teaching a Les Mills program, because again, programs can change. They can be taken away from the chain, can't they? So yeah, it's not secure.
Whereas I think if you're doing it for yourself, you have more control, right? And I just think, okay, so I need to make this amount of money. What can I do? And this is why having multiple streams of income is extremely useful. And I've always done this. The other thing I forgot to mention, I've got a network marketing company as well. So having different streams, because then things can shift, and you can, and then you can see when the economy shifts how things shift. And if things dry up one side, you've got something else, rather than wait, for things to.
And they do things, and fitness, I've noticed, have a lifespan, don't they? There's a certain amount of time. A trend might be here, capitalize on that trend, ride that wave, and then look for the next white space and move on. All our skills are so transferable, which I think is exciting. You can always see what's coming around the corner, but 100% looking for the people that aren't exercising. The fitness industry is brilliant at getting fit people fitter, but there's so many people with bad knees, people with pelvic floor problems, people of a certain age, there's just so many demographics that aren't being catered for within the mainstream industry right now.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal.
And the more you kind of niche and know who you want to serve, then it's going to help you. But there is, like you say, I mean, I don't know what the stats are. I mean, what percentage of the UK population actually exercise?
It's like, what is it, 18, 20%, something like that?
Yeah, so what about the other 80%?
I know,
Right?
where are they? For sure.
And someone I know who's in Taiwan, right? And she is a Les Mills trainer, and was in my R1 team, and she started a YouTube channel not even that long, like just before, maybe the year before lockdown. Right. And it was just general fitness stuff, and it was okay. Through lockdown, specialized in Chinese speaking market.
Oh, wow. I mean, is that not the biggest market?
And knee pain.
No way. Really?
So she's got 125,000 subscribers
Oh my God.
in like 3 years, or I don't know how long it is.
That's incredible.
Right. So you niche, right? You gotta.
So she does fitness speaking. She speaks in Chinese for people that have got problems with their knees, and she does fitness for them. Oh my gosh. I mean, what's the population? What is how many people speak Chinese?
But seriously, she's got her plaques from
Incredible.
YouTube and stuff like that. So I think I had a look the other day, like some of her videos have got like thousands of views, so
think if they had revenue in that, the AdSense, amazing.
Right. And then I think, like slant boards and whatever, like off the back of that, now she can sell product and other things,
Fantastic.
But yeah, so that YouTube is another great one, but it's not just about, oh, here's another yoga program. It's like, so what, or here's a Pilates routine. If you can specialize, and I think people in group X instructors just think too small. when you look at that, and I just think, and you know, that's not even a big number in comparison to other sort of YouTube, you know, creators, but enough for her to make a good, you know, have good reach and everything else.
100%.
But instructors just think too small, and then it's like, I just think, go back to why you're teaching fitness. If you're teaching fitness because you love it and you think everyone should be doing group fitness or yoga, Pilates, or whatever, or if you're teaching it because you really want to help people because, you know, group X has helped you lose weight and everything else, then just get over yourself and put yourself out there.
I love it. Oh, that was amazing. I think we could finish on that. That was so good. Ann-See, just give us your final thoughts around what advice for anyone who's watching, listening, who's Group X, that wants to think bigger, wants to do more, wants to increase their revenue, you know, sees the potential in front. What would your top tips for that person be?
Work on your mindset, whether it's, you know, all aspects of your mindset, money mindset, in terms of your own self-belief, you know, and everything else. Is, you know, getting another qualification will do nothing for your mindset. It really won't. You know, look for help, do some reading, there's stuff out there, but you got to work on you and your confidence and self-esteem. And then the other thing is, I would say, is go back to why you decided to do what you do in the first place. And then from there, you just need to, whenever you go, oh, I can't do that, just, you know, get over yourself. Because like one of the business coaches I worked with, she's like, you know, you've all got special, you're all special, and you've all got brownies, and your like my brownie, Rachel, is different to yours, right?
Right.
And if it's the best brownie in the world, wouldn't you want to share it with the world?
Yeah.
Why keep it to yourself? You know, so she's like, share your brownies freely.
Love it.
And so I think, yes, go sprinkle some Group X, you know, glitter in the world, and, you know, just get over yourself. And honestly, like, the more you do it, like initially it's hard, isn't it? Like doing the summit was like, oh my God, you know, like it's just stretched. But the more you do something, the easier it becomes. Like teaching your first Group X class, I was so shit. It was terrible.
We all were.
Run out of choreography. I've still got 20 minutes to go. And you know, and you the more you do it, you get over it. So the same thing here with social media. You don't have to live on it 24/7. You can be smart with it.
You really can. You really, really can. If anybody wants to connect with you, and I'm sure people do, where can they find you online, Ann-See?
Facebook, Instagram primarily. I've got an email list, and I've got a Facebook group as well. Fit Pro Growth Hub. I've just renamed it.
Oh, Fit Pro Growth Hub. Okay, and anyone can join who teaches any discipline. Come and join. So, oh, fab. We'll go and check that out with Ann-See.
Spending more
Fabulous.
time there than anywhere else. So.
Fabulous. Ann-See, thank you so much for your time. I so appreciate it. It was amazing.
I'm really honoured.
Oh, no, that was amazing. A lovely chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the Rachel Holmes podcast show. Don't forget to subscribe in iTunes and leave us a review. And if you're interested in sponsoring the podcast, please get in touch.